Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with another video, and this time we are doing a fill with a design, and I'll be using my gel polish by Elite 99 as well as my glitter gel polish by Madame Glam, so keep watching. Alrighty, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to remove her gel polish. So I am using my new drill as well as my new drill bit, which is the gold fine bit, which I'll leave the link in the description for. So I haven't had any problems at all. I've had it since about probably less than a week, but it hasn't given me any problems at all. I feel like compared to my last one, even though my last one I didn't have a problem with, that's the one that I had for 5 years, and it started making a noise not too long ago, which is why I decided to get a new one. But yeah, it hasn't given me any problems. I feel like it's more quiet than my last one, which I like. And then yeah, it's really smooth, and I really like it, so I'm glad I went back to the same one I used to have. So once again, I'll leave the link in the description. So yeah, we're just gonna remove this gel polish off the acrylic nail, and then we're gonna go back in, push the cuticles back. Alrighty, so now I'm gonna go in with this pink cuticle pusher from Sally's, and then after we do that, I'm gonna go in with my sanding bit, which is a fine grit, and you can find this on eBay, and I'll leave the link in the description. So yeah, we're just gonna basically remove the shine from the nail, and then after we do that, we're going to apply a primer, and then we're gonna go over to the acrylic application. So whenever you're removing the shine from the natural nail, you want to make sure that you don't file too hard, because you don't want to leave a little ring of fire on their nail. So yeah, you just want to remove that shine, because if you don't, then that will cause lifting. So a lot of the time whenever you have lifting, this could be an issue. You might not be removing the shine off the natural nail properly, which will cause your nail to eventually separate from the natural nail. Alrighty, so now we are applying our OPI primer, and you can find this on eBay as well. So now we're gonna apply our acrylic, and I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system in the color pink. So I just applied a bead to the cuticle area, and you want to make sure that your acrylic does not touch that cuticle, and if it does, you just want to go back in and wipe that cuticle area like this. And if you do have it on the cuticle area, that will cause lifting, so you want to make sure you clean really good around that cuticle area. And then whenever you're applying your beads, you want to make sure you swipe your acrylic all the way down towards the tip, just to make sure that you don't have any little indentations or anything, and to make sure that your nail is nice and even and not just a big ball down by the cuticle. So yeah, I'm gonna apply another one at the tip because my tip was pretty thin, and then I'm gonna move on to the next one. So most of the time I just apply one ball right there closer to the cuticle area, and then I brush it down. So remember, you want to work smarter and not harder, so you want to make sure that you don't use too much acrylic, because you don't want to be left with a whole bunch of falling at the end. So I'm basically applying about 2 beads of acrylic to that back piece, And remember, I'm just applying as I need it. So I always go back and look at my nail, and if it looks too thin, that's when I go back and add. So also, you need to remember that you do not have to basically stick to a certain method. You kind of just add as you need it, because a lot of the time I tell my girls that if you apply one bead and you feel like the nail looks good and you have that good stress area, then you don't have to go back and add a second or third bead. So you do not have to stick to a certain method. If you feel comfortable with your nail, then you just move on to the next one. So once again, I'm using my Mia Secret acrylic system, and this is my Tammy Taylor brush in the size medium, and it is a flat brush. So same thing for the other hand. You want to make sure that you don't apply your acrylic too close to that cuticle area, because that does cause lifting. And you want to make sure you go back and wipe around that cuticle area to get anything off the cuticle. And I cannot stress that enough, but that will cause your lifting. And remember, you want to just kind of add as you need it. If you have a little lump or something, you just go back in and fill it in. But do not use too much acrylic, because you don't want to be left with a whole bunch of filing at the end. So remember to work smarter and not harder. So once again, we're going to apply our bead. You want to gently brush it down. Remember, you don't want to brush too hard, because you don't want to brush all that acrylic towards the tip, because you don't want your tip to be super thick. So you gently just brush down. You kind of want to just feather it down. And remember, clean around those cuticles. I also want to mention that a really important thing that you always want to do is, after you're done applying the acrylic, you want to put your brush into a little dapping dish with acetone, and that's just to clean your brush off. That's what I always do after every set. I set it into a little dapping dish with acetone to soak off all that acrylic, and then you want to put your brush up in a safe spot so you don't mess it up. So that is the way that I clean my brush. I know I get asked that a lot, so that is very important, because if you do a set and your brush is dirty, then all the acrylic will get stuck to your brush and it would not be pretty. So you want to make sure you keep those brushes really clean, because they are not cheap at all. So you want to make sure you take care of them. Set them in a little dapping dish with acetone for about 10 minutes, just so that acrylic left in it can soak off. Alrighty, so after you finish your acrylic application, you want to go back in and reshape your nails. So we already had that coffin shape that we wanted. Now we're just going to go back and redefine the shape, because after a while the shape does kind of dull out. So you want to just make those corners a little bit more sharp and just redefine it. So once again, I am using my nail files, which you can find on my website, and I will leave the link in the description below. And it is a 100/100 jumbo zebra nail file. So once again, you just want to file your shape to redefine it. And whenever I do this, I just want my tip to be really straight and just give it a more defined shape, I guess. I don't want it to kind of be curved, so I do my file the opposite way so it can be really squarish, if that makes sense. So now we are going to go back and file the nails. So remember, you want to focus on that cuticle area. You want to make sure that you seal that cuticle area really good, because if you have any little gaps back there, that will cause your lifting. Water will eventually get under there, which will cause you to have little green spots under your nail because of the trapped moisture, and it would just cause your nail to come off as well. So you want to make sure you file really good. So I know a lot of people ask me, how do you know if I filed good? So as you can see, I basically file till I can see their natural nail. So right here on this nail, you can see the cuticle, you can see the natural nail, and then you see where the acrylics start. So you don't want the acrylic over their cuticle, because that's what causes your lifting. So remember, you want to make sure you file really good around that whole cuticle. You don't want any little gaps. So as long as you see their natural nail and you see that you don't have no little lumps or no gaps or any gaps, then you are good to go. So once again, I am using my new drill as well as my fine drill bit, which you can find on eBay. So after we finish filing all her nails, we're gonna go back and buff them. So whenever you're buffing them, you're basically getting rid of any little scratches left from your nail drill. You want to just smooth the nail out really good, because if you don't, then you'll be able to see any little scratches or bumps or lumps once you start doing your polish. So remember, you want your nails to be really smooth. Then we're just gonna dust them off, wipe them off with an alcohol wipe, and then we'll start our polish. Alrighty, so for our polish, I will be using my Madame Glam gel polish in the color Paradise. And y'all, I'm so in love with this color, or with this glitter. I still have it on my nails. It's so shiny and so pretty. And then we'll be using this light purple color by Elite 99. And y'all, this color is so pretty as well. As you can see, it goes on really good. And I'm gonna do 2 layers of each color, and I'm gonna cure in between each coat for 30 seconds. Alrighty, so we're gonna move on to the other hand, and once again I am using this gel polish by Madame Glam in the color Paradise, and it's this silver holographic color. And then I'm gonna use that light purple by Elite 99. I'm gonna cure for 30 seconds, and then we're gonna apply a second coat to both hands. Also, for my beginners, if you still have problems with polishing the nails, you can always keep a little dapping dish with acetone, as well as a little brush to clean around the cuticle, which is what I do all the time. I always keep my little dapping dish and my brush around so I can go back and clean, and that's just so you can have really neat nails. You don't want all that polish over the cuticle. You want to make sure that that is off your client before they get out of your chair. So now we're doing this second coat of gel polish, and then after this we're going to cure for another 30 seconds. Alrighty, and another thing that I would like to mention is that whenever you're doing gel, you want to make sure that you keep your polishes away from your UV light, because they will dry up really easily, especially if they're open and you have them right by the light. They will start to dry up, so you want to make sure you keep them over to the side and not to where they're exposed to your UV LED light. Alrighty, so now we are going to just cure this hand for 30 seconds, and we're going to do our nail art. So for this, I'm using my white nail art polish by Broadway, which you can find at your local Dollar General. So I'm just going to outline the nail with the white, and then I'm going to go back in and kind of fix it up a little bit, because as you can see, I was having problems trying to make a straight line. So I'm just using my little dapping dish with acetone and my brush to clean around the line. And then I'm just going to randomly draw some lines over the nail. They do not have to be in any type of order or anything. I'm just randomly doing nails, but I know I do have a habit of drawing that one line in the middle, and then all the other ones I just randomly draw. And then we are going to fill in some of the little triangles in with the Paradise gel polish by Madame Glam. Alrighty, so after this I'm going to be using my nail art brush, which I have on my website, and then I'm using the same Paradise gel polish to fill in the little triangles. So as you can see, I kind of want to spread them out. I don't want to fill in triangles that are right next to each other. That's why I'm going to go back in and draw 2 more, because like I said, I don't want them right next to each other. I'm going to go back in and fill them in, and then I'm going to cure for 30 seconds. So I'm going to do the same for this other finger. I'm going to outline the nail, then I'm going to draw that line right in the middle of the nail, and then randomly do the other lines, and then I'm going to fill them in with the Paradise gel polish and cure for another 30 seconds. Then we're just going to go back and apply our gel top coat. Alrighty, so after they are cured, I'm going to go back and apply my gel top coat, and then I'm going to cure for 60 seconds. Alrighty y'all, so I hope you guys enjoyed. This is the final look. They turned out so pretty. Those 2 colors look so good together. So they are pretty simple yet so pretty and so shiny. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos to come.